the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, of the right against illegal searches and seizures. And the problem is with us is we don't know the law. This is what I loved about studying Huey P. Newton in 1966 when he founded the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Him, Bobby Hutton, and Bobby Seale. The first thing that they did when they embraced you into the Black Panther Party was they gave you a criminal law manual and a traffic law manual. And when they would just be walking down the street or driving down the street and they see a young man that was stopped, they would get out and this officer, according to this, according to that, and it put the Oakland Police Department on notice. And you know what I said that to say this, that we need to start just researching the law, just understanding what rights do you have in your car, what rights do you have in your home. The Fourth Amendment to the Constitution says that you have a right against illegal searches and seizures. Illegal searches and seizures. If you're stopped for reasonable suspicion, you then use your turn signal. There's no right. That is the officer does not have the probable cause to snatch you out, search you, your body search, going in your pockets, and to go into anything in your vehicle. Now, up on a stop, don't get it wrong. Based upon a stop, an officer can look in your vehicle, but he cannot go into the glove box. He cannot look under the seat. And seeing what I've been experiencing and have seen, officers are using what's known as inadvertent discovery. Now, inadvertent discovery in law is when, let's say I stopped your vehicle and I look in your ashtray, which is open, and I see a little pipe there. Okay, now I see this pipe, inadvertent discovery. Now I have probable cause to make the arrest on you, possession of paraphernalia. Then I go through the car and find all kind of drugs. Okay, that is an inadvertent discovery. But what's being done now is calling it an inadvertent discovery when it wasn't inadvertently discovered. They find it, go into your glove compartment, go under your seat, make this big bust, and then take you to jail. But then your rights have been violated because it wasn't inadvertently discovered. Now, the only way that you can fight something like that is you get a lawyer and take that to court and saying whether the officer, first of all, searched my vehicle illegally. The only way that he can search that vehicle out there with reasonable suspicion is if you give him permission to search it. Same with your home. If you're in your home, the officer knocks on your door and says, I want to come in, this, that, no, you have a warrant. If he doesn't have a warrant, he cannot come in. If you say, yeah, he can come in, he can come in. Now, there's extenuating circumstance. If an extenuating circumstance exists, let's say you just committed a crime, he's chasing you and you're running in the house. Now the officer has the right to go in that house against you. Now, if he has to get you, if he has a warrant for your arrest, a warrant for an arrest couples as a search warrant. So if he has a warrant and he knocks on your door, yeah, they can come in and search your house too. So explain probable cause, the inadvertent discovery, the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. Okay, and I have all of these in statute and everything if, we can discuss if anybody have any questions, but I think, well, I know the reason that the officers are doing anything that they want to do out there, not abiding by the Constitution, the laws, violating everything, is because they know that we don't know. If we learn what these are, and you could say to the officer, well, your reasonable suspicion was for stopping me was I didn't use my turn signal. I submit to that officer. I did not use my turn signal, but I'm not authorizing you to search my vehicle. Now, Terry versus Ohio says that you can pat frisk me. Yeah, you can. Go ahead, pat me down. I don't have anything, but you cannot go in my pockets. And when he sees that you know these things, it stops a lot of that. It stops a lot of that. And to continue to do it, then of course you have to use the judicial system as it is to try to fight it. But we have some things that they didn't have some time ago, and one of those things is the social media. We need to use them. Twitter, Facebook. Anytime, I would advise every one of you to get you a little tape recorder. To make sure you always got your cameras handy. If something occurs with you, hit play on that button. Because as long as you are part of the conversation, you can record it, and it's not against the law. You can record it. So turn it on. Turn it on. And if that officer is saying something, and it does, I mean, I've heard just too many nightmares. And I myself, I must admit, some years back, I come home from work, I lived right over in Autumn Woods some 20 years ago. Park my cruiser, get in my Cadillac, and drive right down Anthony Street, and it wouldn't be 15, 20 minutes later till the sirens behind me pull me over, and the first thing I do is throw that ID. Now, I want to know why you stopped me. I want to know why you stopped me right now. Give you something real quick. Oh, I thought it was a vehicle that was involved in something. Run back to the car, jump into the takeoff. I've had that happen a whole bunch of times. Hey, I know this. It happens. I know it. But we also know that there are a lot of our young men out there in our community doing the wrong things. And when you say that you're sick and tired of seeing racist officers saturate our communities, well, how are you going to go downtown with any defense about it? Look how the young men are out here conducting themselves. But that doesn't mean that a upstanding citizen who's on his way to work, minding his own business, has to be subjected to the illegalities and the improprieties of these officers simply because they're on a quest to stop the gang violence and things of this nature, and I applaud that. But come on, you have to abide by the United States Constitution, and you have to abide by the standard operating procedures set forth in your manual from the city of Fort Wayne Police Department. And a lot of times, not all of the officers, because there's some good officers out there. It's some of the bad ones, and they know who they are, that make the whole department looks bad. They're acting on their own, not even in congruity with their own department. They're doing a whole bunch of underhand garbage themselves. So it's up to us as a community. We need a platform, and it's a good thing that Brother Hackley has these things going on like this, but we need a platform where this kind of thing can get spoken out. Because once it becomes public, then you'll see it'll start to wane. It'll start to wane because nobody wants the bad press. Nobody, and if it gets bad enough, I think that it's particularly with this young Haney boy, which is my cousin's son, Rose Haney, who they shot in the front, shot him in the back, shot him and killed him and everything, and then said it was justified. Right over here on Oliver Street, I believe it was. Just tragic. Just tragic. And we, now, and again, we're everywhere all over the country bleeding for somebody else's cause. But when it comes to young men, our young men, being assassinated and murdered, we ain't got no blood to bleed. Everybody hiding. And then they claim that you stand up in church and claim you got faith. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not one who bashes churchgoers because I believe in the death, the burial, and the resurrection myself. But I believe this: faith without works is dead. It's dead as fried chicken. So if you want to claim that you have this kind of faith, but you're afraid to stand up and speak on it, then how you gonna say at the same time you want to be like Jesus, you want to live like Jesus, and you want to do what Jesus did? Jesus went and told Caesar, "You're not God. You know, the God that sent me is God. That's who's God." You know, Jesus went, we know what he did. Everyone wants to act like Jesus never got angry. But tell me what happened when he went in there in the synagogue and turned the money changers table over. You know, took a stick and turned it over and threw it and told him to rebuild it, tear it down, and he'll rebuild it in 3 days. Was he not angry? I think he was. Everyone wants to say that Jesus was always happy when no, that time he was angry. Jesus got angry about what they were doing in his Father's house. So, if you have your faith, and they claim they do, and it's something they sit in church and say, well, I got faith, but then when it comes to time out here to stand out on it, you say that you're anointed and you're protected by the blood. Well, Jesus spoke. He was assassinated too, and I guess that's why ain't nobody saying nothing. But you know, he sent us a message. You know, the path to him is not a wide one, but it's a very narrow one. So let me say this in closing. You know, I'm not a racist. I don't believe in any form of racism. I believe in judging a person by the content of their character and their conscious behavior. And if you consciously behaving like you hate me, then, well, you know, I'm going to have to fight fire with fire because I don't believe in trying to love nobody that don't love me. That's just not me. My teacher, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, used to say one thing. He said, if you're ever going to have a conversation with a man, you have to learn his language. And when you learn his language, then you can talk. But if you don't know his language, there ain't no way y'all going to be able to come to some kind of understanding. If he speaks French, you better learn French. If he speaks Greek, you better learn Greek. If he speaks peace, you better learn how to speak peace. And if he speaks violence, you better learn how to speak violence. But either way, you're going to have a conversation. All right, thank you.